Welcome to Super Showdowns, the ultimate destination for epic battles and legendary showdowns. Join us as we put iconic superheroes, villains, and mythological figures against each other in thrilling matches of strength, strategy, and skill. Before there was light, there was Knull. In the silent expanse before creation, before the first star pulsed and before the first atom spun, there was only the void, and in that void he awoke. Knull's consciousness emerged like a shadow birthed from nothingness, his essence a hymn of hatred toward the light that dared to intrude upon his perfect darkness. When the Celestials came to forge new worlds, their glowing forges pierced the void and filled it with creation. To Knull, it was blasphemy. From the wound their light carved into the abyss, Knull drew forth a weapon, the All-Black Necrosword, a living blade forged from his own malice. With it, he struck down a celestial, staining the stars with divine ichor. That act was the beginning of his crusade, his declaration that darkness would reclaim the cosmos. Across galaxies he created his army, the symbiotes, extensions of his will, a black tide that smothered worlds and gods alike. Kingdoms fell into silence wherever his shadow stretched. But as eons passed, light persisted. Civilizations rose again, stars ignited anew, and life dared to bloom where Knull had once reigned. Each new spark of creation was a dagger to his pride. He withdrew into the heart of his kingdom, a cold, endless abyss known as the Living Abyss, waiting for the next chance to snuff out existence itself. He watched universes grow fat with arrogance, filled with heroes and gods who sang praises to the light. Knull's fury fermented into something darker than hate, a hunger to end creation itself. Then came the anomaly. In the far reaches of the multiverse, the threads of reality began to shimmer, distorting like a reflection disturbed by unseen hands. Worlds flickered, histories rewrote themselves, and even the symbiote hive began whispering of a new god, not of darkness, not of light, but of understanding. Through the rift between universes, Knull sensed a consciousness so vast it felt alien to the laws of existence. He reached out with the tendrils of his will, probing the anomaly, and found a presence watching him, calm, emotionless, infinite. Dr. Manhattan, a being not born from chaos or divine spark, but from the structure of matter itself, a god of atoms and time. In another universe, Dr. Manhattan had rewritten the fates of entire worlds with a thought, shaping and unshaping history like a sculptor molding clay. He did not rule, he observed. He did not destroy, he adjusted, yet even his cold detachment stirred when he sensed Knull, an entity that stood outside logic, whose essence was the rejection of existence. Their meeting began not with words, but with awareness. Knull felt the quantum gaze of Dr. Manhattan dissecting him across all points in time, unraveling his dark creation at the molecular level. Manhattan saw the primordial emptiness within Knull, a void that defied every principle of matter. Two gods of opposite dominions, one of meaning, one of meaninglessness, now stood at the brink of confrontation. In the living abyss, black suns rose and bled as Knull prepared his army. His symbiotes swarmed in violent devotion, forming constellations of living darkness. He raised the all-black high, its blade singing with hunger. "I am the void," Knull whispered to the stars, "and you, intruder, are the light that must die." Meanwhile, in the heart of the quantum field, Dr. Manhattan observed without emotion. His form glowed faintly blue, his eyes reflecting infinite timelines. He did not desire war, but he understood its inevitability. Every possible future converged on one truth.
Hey you, don't just watch. Subscribe please.
That darkness would rise to challenge existence, and existence would answer. The first signs of war rippled through both universes. Dimensions trembled as the void of Knull's domain began to leak into the multiverse, swallowing stars and erasing light. On distant worlds, entire civilizations vanished, their energy absorbed into the living darkness. Dr. Manhattan's awareness expanded to meet it, stabilizing collapsing realities, but each repair brought him closer to confrontation. Then came the breach. Knull tore through the fabric of space-time, his presence manifesting in the quantum realm where Dr. Manhattan dwelled. The void bled into the field of pure existence, and for the first time darkness and creation shared the same breath. Knull's eyes burned with cosmic rage, his armor forged of symbiotic tendrils that writhed in hunger. Around him the all-black pulsed with the lifeblood of slain gods. Manhattan stood before him, serene, luminous and infinite. "You should not be here," he said, his voice resonating across timelines. Knull's laughter echoed like the scream of a dying star. "You think creation can tell me where I should be? I am the truth before all things, the silence that existed before your precious atoms began to spin. You, blue god, are nothing but the flicker of a dying candle in my night." Manhattan tilted his head slightly, studying Knull through every possible reality. "And yet here you are, existing." The word struck something within Knull, not doubt but fury. The darkness around him trembled, hungry to consume the calm before it. The void flared with energy, and for a brief instant, time itself froze. Across galaxies, stars flickered and fell silent. The meeting of these two gods was no mere encounter. It was an omen, the signal that the balance of existence had reached its breaking point. One stood for the inevitability of creation, the other for the eternal hunger of nothingness. Soon they would not merely meet, they would clash, and the multiverse would tremble at the sound. The void screamed. When Knull and Dr. Manhattan clashed, the sound wasn't heard, it was felt. Across the multiverse, galaxies bent, timelines fractured, and reality itself recoiled in terror. Darkness and light met at the center of creation, each struggling to overwrite the other. The living abyss poured into the quantum field like a cosmic infection, swallowing light, devouring atoms, reducing creation to silence. Dr. Manhattan hovered in the center of it all, his blue form radiating pure energy, his body split across countless quantum moments. To Knull's eyes he appeared in 1,000 positions at once, standing, kneeling, reaching, observing, existing across time like a divine mirage. The All-Black Necrosword slashed through space, trailing a wake of annihilation, each swing carved through stars and reality alike. The first blow struck Dr. Manhattan square in the chest. His body shattered into particles of blue light. Gone. Knull grinned, his fanged mouth curling in triumph. But then behind him the air pulsed with energy. Manhattan reassembled himself calmly, without expression, as if his own destruction were nothing but a passing thought. "I exist in every moment," he said, his voice echoing across the void. "You can kill me in one, but I will exist in the next." Knull's laughter reverberated like thunder in a dying storm. "Then I will end every moment." With that he unleashed his power. Tendrils of darkness erupted from his form, spreading across the field of creation like veins of ink through water. Each tendril carried the corruption of the void. Entire realities collapsed into them, their energy absorbed and converted into black flame. Planets vanished, stars imploded. The living abyss became a storm of devouring chaos. Dr. Manhattan raised his hand. In an instant the quantum field surged to life. Every particle, every photon, every vibration of existence answered his will. The cosmos shone brighter than it ever had before. A wave of light exploded outward, cutting through the darkness, rewriting space-time on a molecular level. For every shadow Knull created, Manhattan birthed 10,000 suns. But Knull adapted. He used his sword to absorb that light, feeding on it, twisting it into his power. The Necrosword grew, stretching into an endless blade of corruption. He swung it downward, splitting the fabric of the multiverse. Time unraveled like torn silk. Dr. Manhattan's form blurred through the timelines, splitting into infinite reflections of himself, each fighting in a different moment, each trying to undo the spreading rot. The battle spanned past and future alike. In one timeline, Knull decapitated 1,000 versions of Manhattan. In another, Manhattan erased Knull's existence before his birth, only for another version of Knull to emerge from a timeline untouched by causality. They battled through dimensions where thought became matter, and matter became memory. Dr. Manhattan realized that to defeat Knull, he couldn't simply fight him, he had to understand him. He delved deep into Knull's essence, his consciousness reaching into the heart of the void. There he saw it, not evil, but rejection. Knull wasn't merely destruction, he was the embodiment of resistance against meaning. He was the scream of nothingness, defying the audacity of life. For a brief moment, Dr. Manhattan almost pitied him, But pity could not stop the darkness. Knull struck again, impaling Manhattan with the All-Black. "You cannot erase what came before creation," he snarled, his voice shaking the boundaries of existence. Blue energy bled from Manhattan's wound, forming galaxies and stars even as he weakened. He looked down at the blade buried in his chest, then raised his hand and touched it gently. "No," he said quietly, "but I can redefine it." And then he did the impossible. "Doctor." Manhattan expanded his consciousness beyond time, beyond the multiverse, into the fundamental equation of existence. He reached back to the moment before light and darkness were divided, before the void birthed gods and stars. He touched the first vibration of creation, the quantum pulse that gave rise to both energy and entropy, and rewrote it. Knull screamed as his own power turned against him. The All-Black began to melt, its living darkness transforming into pure inert matter. The symbiotes across the cosmos convulsed, losing their connection to their god. The living abyss trembled and shattered like glass under sunlight. "You cannot unmake me," Knull roared, his body fracturing into rivers of black fire. "I am not unmaking you," Manhattan replied, his voice resonating through every atom of creation. "I am redefining you." In that instant the void was filled with light. Knull's darkness dissolved, atom by atom, absorbed into the quantum sea. His essence stretched thin, becoming data within the field of existence, not destroyed, but converted into balance. The god of darkness became part of the equations he despised. When the light faded, Dr. Manhattan stood alone in the silent void. His form flickered faintly, his energy nearly spent. Around him, the scars of battle healed, stars reignited, space-time restructured itself. For the first time in eternity there was peace. Manhattan looked into the endless horizon, speaking softly to no one. "Darkness and light, neither can exist without the other. Perhaps he was never my enemy, only my reflection." Then he vanished, his body scattering into particles of radiant blue across the cosmos, becoming one with everything once more. And in the deepest corner of the void, where light could not reach, a faint whisper remained, the echo of Knull's laughter, waiting for the moment when existence itself would grow weary again. "Winner, Dr. Manhattan, the god of infinite understanding."